What's up, DBs? Coach D Magic here, former D1 defensive back. We're here to talk about some safety plays, specifically Jaylen Reed, former Penn State safety, his highlights. He's with the Houston Texans right now, drafted. And I want to break down all of these plays so that you guys can take something from it. I want to keep it short, keep it simple. I've realized that a majority of the questions I get in my email are from people who are brand new to the sport, position, and, you know, they really like when I keep things simple. And I've noticed, right? Like, even as a coach, it's not what you know, it's what your kids know. So you can be the smartest person in the world. But if you're if you're teaching in a way where they can't comprehend, right, it's not going to show on the field. So to any coaches watching this video, if you have different terminology, if you feel like, you know, I'm not telling the whole story, the full story, this is for kids to immediately take the information and apply it tomorrow. Okay, make sure you go to thedbnetwork.com if you want all the drills. So let's start with this play here. All right, middle field safety play. Let me move this out the way. Okay, so first thing you got to think of. All right, so we're a two shell defense. Two shell meaning two safeties at the snap. Typically one works down, okay, and one works back. All right, so when you're going from the field and you have 2x2, I'm sorry, you always got to think about the seams, okay? Because if you're playing man like it looks like they're playing, all right, these guys are going to try to catch technique and funnel these guys inside, so you have to make plays on the seam. And then his first step, okay, so he's not going to get into a crossover run and pedal. He's going to shuffle out. So that's basically his read step, okay? So we have depth, 10 yards. He's going to shuffle out. That's his read step. As we're shuffling out, right, we can make plays on number two. Even though we can't see number two, if the quarterback's looking our way and he tries to throw it over our head, as long as we're in the middle of the field, we should be able to make that play. But we can be open, see the quarterback here as we're in our shuffle, and we can read his eyes and his intentions. All right? So I always tell my guys, and you see this a lot at the college level. All right? Quarterback gets the ball. All right? Gets his eyes to one side of the field. Hits his back foot. All right? Usually when he hits that back foot, that's where he's going with the football. All right? So knowing that we want to be able to get to the seams and on a, you know, an elite safety can get to the sideline. All right? Knowing that that's where we want to be able to get to, where the quarterback's intentions are, there's no reason to square up here. Okay? So out of our shuffle read step, crossover run, that ball, he's letting that ball go, okay? We know that he's trying to get to the seam. And I think because we don't backpedal and increase our space, and because we're already open and we can run, we don't have to worry about break issues, all right? And we can, like, purely just go get it. All right, so that's something you can add to your game, all right? Shuffling to the middle of the field, okay? If their best receivers over here or if it's trips over here, all right, we're already in the post. We can keep our eyes open for his intentions. Good play here. Tips and overthrows as a safety. Tips and overthrows. Tips and overthrows. Get to the football, all right? That's where a lot of your interceptions are going to come from. And on this play, okay, looks like a cover two. So a couple coaching points. All right, the reason why I think cover two is because rarely do you see a linebacker just haul and just run out of there. All right, he's our middle dropper. And then it's a different type of cover two. So you see this defensive end working out to the flat. All right, so that leads me to believe we're the hook player. Okay, and we have our flat player. All right, so the first thing you want to think about as a hook, all right, drop inside of number two. All right, we want to reroute number two. In this instance, because the quarterback's escaping the pocket, you do want to, what was I going to say? Take him back. All right, take him back. But as he starts to release up the field, we have to stay square and keep vision because we have a safety back there. All right, so you have to know when your job is done. All right, yes, we're taking him because he's still within our hook curl. But once he works up, we have a safety back there. He's got to work with them. All right, if that quarterback keeps it, let's say that quarterback runs, we got to be able to 2-on-1 vice tackle here. But because we stay in our zone, all right, and we're reading his eyes back and never throw across your field late to the middle of the field, big mistake. And just simply because we stay in our zone, right, we get a play. Hook curl, hook curl. And in this play, right, so he is, let's count the players, right? So we have 4 players here, 4 players here. So it means we have 3 deep. We're in a cover 3, 3 deep covered. All right. So he looks like he's our curl flat defender. Now, I have seen it taught different ways. I have some coaches, no matter what happens, you go from the curl, you get to the flat, flip your butt, and then you're gonna hinge, and play top down. But I do like it this way, where all right, so we don't have a number 2. Our number 2 is in the backfield. All right, we could possibly have a number 2 coming across the tight end, right? So we got to be ready for the run to fit the run. Once it's a pass and we have nothing to our flat, no number 2 threat. All right, I was taught when I was first taught this, and I've seen it change, like I said, to get depth, okay, and then just vision the quarterback. So as a linebacker, you'll see linebackers doing drills where they're reading the quarterback. The simplest way I can teach you how to play your zone is that when his feet stop, our feet stop. Okay, so you see how his feet stopped right here? That's basically like quick game, right? So usually when you're underneath defender and you're getting quick game, you want to work laterally to his vision. All right, you don't want to keep getting depth. You want to just work laterally to his vision, flat to his vision. Okay, let's say he kept dropping and he ends up back here. Then we would get depth, right? Then we would probably end up here, all right, in our drop. But because we're reading run pass, so we're reading run, we got to be ready for the run, all right? And then by the time we realize it's a pass, he's already set his feet. So you see how he's working flat to his vision? And a lot of times you got to have a designated player who's going to be able to play these deep over routes, flip their hips and play these deep over routes. All right, so good job here. No number 2 threat, flipping, getting that ball out. All right, here, same concept that we were talking about before with our middle field player, okay? See how he's shuffling out? See how he's shuffling out? So a couple things here. He has depth. He's 15 yards. All right, so we don't need to pedal with 15 yards. We can play a lot more patient. It's empty, okay? See this guy over here? Up there is empty. Empty usually means the ball is going to come out relatively quick, all right, which also means that we don't need to be super fast in our pedal. From where we are on the boundary hash, if he runs that slot fade, we'd be able to get to it, all right? But we got to be worried about 3 and 2, all right? So he's going to stay open here, okay? Even though the quarterback's looking us in the middle of the field, we're already shuffling to the middle of the field, so he's looking for us, all right? We're shuffling. Okay, now he's trying to sell us this way. All right, but what did I say? When he hits that back foot, where are his intentions? All right, so even though he's trying to sell us this way, when he hits that back foot, where's his eyes going? All right, his eyes go to the field. All right, so good job staying patient. Okay, he doesn't want this slot fade. He wants this slot fade. All right, and now once that shoulder leans up, you see how that shoulder's kind of arced up. All right, high shoulder, high lead shoulder. All right, he's trying to put some air on that football. We do a good job of reading them, getting out. Tips and overthrows. Tips and overthrows. This play, all right? So usually you don't want to go inside of a block. My coach said if you go inside the block, you better make the tackle. The reason why he's able to go inside is because, one, there's space between the blocker and the ball carrier. If the ball carrier was here, you got to fit outside, all right? But because there's space, all right, he's 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and the blocker oversets, people teach this, and I've seen it taught. Give a jab to the outside, and then work inside, dip and rip, or he's just bullying his way inside. Leverage the football, keeping the football on your inside pad. All right. So again, you do this when there's space. You can do this when there's space. Overset, jab, get inside, leverage the football, keep it on your inside pad. This play's, fairly simple as well. Okay, he's just making a play here. They didn't expect us to make this play. All right, so we're pre-snap communication. Look at the formation. You see how everything's condensed, everything's tight. So if I'm a middle field player, everything's gonna work to me. I need to know. I'm not really gonna have to work too far. Sideline to sideline. Everything's gonna be where I can see it. Quarterback's looking at where we are. We know that when we get these formations, you usually get like a post and an over, something like that, or some type of crossing route. Hits that back foot. All right, intentions. Shoulders high, eyes are over there. All right, shoulder gets up, arced up. Okay, we understand that there's only one threat to our left. All right, we see this guy right here. As we're reading the quarterback, we can feel this guy right here, right? But now we know where the ball's going. Good job getting over the top. So it's just reading the quarterback, knowing that you don't have to be so fast. Cover two, okay, quick cover two tutorial. A lot of people teach a different way. I think because everything is so condensed, you see how everybody's near the hashes. We don't have to be so far off the hashes here, okay? So he's right on the hash. He's about a yard offside the hash. All right, we don't have to be so far, right? Usually it's going to be something where, you know, you get some type of out, you get some type of corner, all right, or some type of mesh, but you don't have to be so far off the hashes here because the formation's condensed. So I would say about 2 to 3 yards off the hash. We don't need to read any releases or anything. We could just play it slow, play from depth, read the quarterback. Okay, deep drop. We should be squaring our pedal, which we are. Hits that back foot. Okay, we should be able to feel the corner route developing. We have a corner who's going to play underneath to force that ball to be delivered with some air. Good job being there. This one's super quick. Okay, this is like one rat, one hole coverage. Okay, let's say they're hitting us with a bunch of crossers. Crossers, mesh. So you put someone here, a hole defender, and he's going to cut the crosser, cut to the field, okay? So we're going to take this underneath guy because we're getting picked here. So if we take this guy, whoever was guarding him needs to replace us in the middle of the field. So that would be number 5, okay? So once we take this guy, number 5, so if you get cut, all right, if you're not the safety, if you're the corner, you get cut, you got to replace the cutter. So now, if we take this away and they don't throw this ball, if he tries to throw it to this guy, you see how now number 5 can replace here and undercut this. All right, so that's how I was taught to play cut coverage, as I call it. And then we'll finish it here. Well, this is just a reminder, guys. Like, right, you got to have keys. Okay, so even though this is man coverage, you got to key the end man in line of scrimmage, which is the tight end. You key your guy because if we're looking at him, you see how he's getting off? That's not a run block, okay? So even though, because we have our eyes in the backfield, we can't see, and he creeps behind us. But good job recovering, rolling, all right, getting to the hip. But that happens a lot, you know, so he will tell us run pass. He will tell us if it's run, what type of block. If he down blocks, all right, we can pin the hip. If he arc blocks, we can set the edge, right, set a hard edge. So down block meaning he blocks down, I'm sorry. If he works out this way, all right, then we would set here, keeping our outside arm free. All right, so you got to key him. He'll take you to the football. All right, so I hope that wasn't too fast. I hope that wasn't too much. I hope it was simple. Make sure you go to thedbnetwork.com if you want to get our complete DB mastery program with drills for every position in the secondary. If you only want like specific safety techniques and maybe like a little bit of playbooks that I have, make sure you email me. I can set up a special package just for you, and we'll figure out what needs to be in there to help you be elite. I appreciate you guys. Let me know what you want to hear for the next video.